Anthropic's large language model Claude just programmed all of Minecraft. This thing is called a vehicle reconnaissance system, which means tiny drones can be released or snatched out of the air at any moment. Somebody who made this meme thinks that artificial intelligence is overhyped. The Apple Pencil is literally an AI-powered pencil. A man in San Francisco gets into a self-driving car, and his reaction is priceless. If you want to be part of the solution to save Star Trek Lower Decks, it's all been released on YouTube. You know that they're gauging interest. It sounds like video game performers are about to go on strike because of AI concerns. An election in the UK had somebody running who people thought might have been AI generated, like deepfake, and he was like, no, I'm real, guys. But was he? We'll investigate. The world now has a technology that can turn Wi-Fi signals into electricity. There's a new AI model that combines real-time satellite data with weather data to help predict how wildfires are going to grow. And for anyone who's worried about their bone density, AI is now helping doctors detect osteoporosis. Okay, so we've talked about this website before, and it's called Websim AI. And I'm actually navigating in a Minecraft world. Look at me, I'm mining, I'm crafting. For Claude to have programmed all of this just seems like so much. Like there's this whole interface, there's this whole, it's probably using WebGL or something. Like this whole 3D interactive framework had to have been implemented in a way that actually worked. So look, I can right click to put things places, or I can just click on them to remove it. I have my full keyboard command up here to change the items that I'm mining and crafting with. Look at me, I'm digging a big old hole here. Can adjust your field of view here. And can you imagine a near future where when you want to play a video game, it might code the whole game up for you? Potentially, maybe not using IP. Say give me Minecraft, but make sure it doesn't break any IP. Claude might be smart enough to know exactly what it is that Microsoft owns in terms of Minecraft and just recreate the whole code base. Maybe we're all going to have our own operating systems that directly talk low level to our hardware. Maybe that'd be the safest way to build things. I mean, probably not, but just the fact that this can be made so quickly just gets you thinking, how different could the future be? All right, what are your thoughts on this new black Recon launch system? All right, so you can see, here comes the drone flying down some military setting, probably in some country we're not supposed to be, then clamp, boom, grabs it, pulls it down, turns sideways, tucks into its box. That little suitcase thing, that could be dropped anywhere. You could fit 100 of those in a semi-truck. So this is a deployment platform that enables continuous ISR missions by cycling through 3 drones with an automatic recovery and launch process. So each UAV can fly for 45 minutes, nearly undetectable. Okay, so there's some talk that these servos are too big, but then someone else is saying they're needed. Over engineering is poor engineering. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know how to build something like this. It does seem like there's a lot of room in there, but it holds 3 drones and they rotate around, and you want that thing to be really durable if it's in a military setting. So is AI overused? Is it hyping? Is it marketing a whole bunch of crap that it shouldn't? Absolutely. Just like with Bitcoin, anything that put the word crypto in there just all of a sudden became a company that was 3 times more valuable. And you can't get any money from VCs unless you're AI this and the whole thing. However, there actually is a pen that has AI in it. There's a watch with AI in it. There is a refrigerator, a microwave, everything. And I can imagine how useful these will be in some future where you want high intelligence built into a system. So it's an easy story to sell someone on. And there are a ton of people who have no intention to build anything of value, but there could be, and there probably will be at some point someone who does it the right way, and they will be probably not great salesmen, and it will be 1,000 times harder and more expensive than they thought. But there's literally AI pens. See, no, you can't have this pen sold. Imagine a peanut, right? If somebody's I have this peanut here and I'm going to make it AI powered, would you be, oh, I need to buy that? No, because it's a food. AI powered wine opener, maybe an AI powered fork, but then maybe you could use AI to understand what's in your mouth or what bacteria is on the food, or if it's the right, yeah, you could probably make an AI powered fork. AI powered doorknob, yeah, it could be touch sensitive. AI powered rug might be able to tell you information about your dog or something. AI powered window could be a smart display. AI powered nose hair trimmer might be kind of pointless. AI powered tennis racket would be probably something someone would want. I mean, it's harder to find things that you couldn't put AI in and sell to people than it is to find them. I mean, I think peanut, I definitely don't think we need an AI powered peanut, but everything else, Okay, so somebody who uses Tesla's self-driving quite a bit just to correct my steering, and I'm always there to take over, I would never get in that car in like the back seat and have it drive me somewhere. It's just not there yet. And just growing up, I always wondered, like, is there going to be a day where like a self-driving car picks up a regular person? And this video captured some of that feeling for the average person.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Hey, how you doing? Whoa. How you doing? Oh. Hello?
Oh, from Waymo. As we get
this is
just
crazy.
1 minute to cover a few riding tips. This experience may...
Look, it's inching up. That is crazy.
Reminds me of Total Recall. Missed the talking robot driver? Let me check that out. I know I need to see this movie, by the way, guys. I haven't. What, they thought there could be just some mechanical robot like that in front of the front seat? You know what, to be frank, though, that car doesn't look that much different than the Cybertruck. It has that angled look. What year is this supposed to be? The year 2084? Yeah, Johnny Cab, huh? All right, so I have some bad news for you. It's not in the future. It's right now. Lower Decks, Star Trek. It sounds like it's getting canceled. And if enough people show enough interest, you know they will renew it for more seasons. And one thing that Paramount just did is they put all of season 1 Lower Decks on YouTube for free. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch the whole series right now. Because if this gets a very surprising amount of attention, views, comments, then maybe they're gonna renew it. And then if not, I'm going to have to wait until something like Showrunner or some AI generated thing can just make cartoons for me. And then I can say, give me a Rick and Morty and Lower Deck crossover. That's all I'm ever going to need. That's the only show I'm going to watch when the time comes. Let's save Lower Decks. This show is awesome and deserves more seasons. Renew. We need more Lower Decks. By the way, look at this video preview 8 hours ago. Strange New Worlds. They all turn into Vulcans.
Fine.
Feeling is unusual.
My perception has increased.
Everything I once
Look,
found
their
dull
ears are
now
all
seems
pointy
to
and
be-
everything. Who would have thought? Pike is a Vulcan? And remember, Spock's only half Vulcan, so, you know, he's less Vulcan than them now. Okay, so when it comes to going on strike because of artificial intelligence, when the Writers Guild did it a little while ago, it was early. Like, they saw the beginning of ChatGPT catching on, and they acted quick, and they probably did the right thing, at least for securing a much better contract before it was too late. Now, the video game performers, I think that they need to think about things as quickly as possible, too. So this makes sense to me. I mean, it takes a lot of money to develop a lot of these high-end games, and there is very quickly going to be tools for voice acting and character NPCs that are, like, much more robust. For a while where there's a transition period, it might be good to lock in some contract for a certain amount of years and then start to obviously like understand that the world's different, give them time to find new jobs or just to build careers in other ways. And so the union is claiming that studios don't recognize all of the things that performers do under their agreement, which is going to potentially allow AI to replicate some of their work without consent. So they want much more detailed and thorough understanding of what it is that they do as actors. They'll be negotiating on behalf of about 2,500 performers. And then reflecting back on the previous contract that they're working under now, it did have the kind of safeguards that they wanted for securing bonuses. But the reason they have to reopen it is because after they did an 11-month strike and they got those bonuses, they didn't think that much about AI coming so quickly. So that's why it has to be reopened. And to me, that's a really interesting metaphor. Like, in fact, I even just heard Mark Zuckerberg speaking on one of the podcasts I listened to this afternoon when I was doing dishes. And he was saying, you know, like, I didn't know that the company, when I named it Meta, was going to be so involved with AI. I always knew that was part of where we were going in the long run, but he's like, I definitely thought VR was going to come before AI. So AI being here right now even caught someone like Zuckerberg by surprise. Of course, do you know how many contracts and unions and jobs and things have not been prepared properly for this? I mean, even when Nick Bostrom book came out, Superintelligence, which I think is like 11 years old or something now, it just seemed so far into the future that it completely didn't feel like reality. Now, on the flip side, there is an actual human candidate running in the UK for Parliament who is human but needed to defend his authenticity. So a rival candidate actually accused Reform UK of putting AI-generated candidates up for election. And I was just thinking, like, could you imagine right now if Trump was like, nah, Kamala doesn't exist. That's all AI-driven. I think so many people would be like, has anyone seen her in person? I bet she's AI-generated by the Democrats. Or vice versa. I'm not trying to take like one side or the other. I'm sure if Camilla was like, Trump is all AI, maybe people would buy it too. But it just feels like this world now where if you don't attend a rally or see someone in real life, it does kind of lend to speculation and just it's going to be this whole thing, I think. So the accused, his name was Mark Maddock, and he said, I'm a real person and that is me in the photo, he confirmed to the British news outlet, The Independent. And he said, I just laughed when I saw it. I think it perked me up and thought maybe I need to get back out there on the campaign trail. And even though it's been proven completely false, he noted, many more allegations will arrive in the cases where an election is called on short notice, leading to paper candidates, quote, paper candidates, like candidates that don't exist. They're just AI-generated images who may never be met by their prospective constituents. Of course, were such a candidate to actually win, okay, imagine that, like just a photograph that was generated by Midjourney ends up winning, the whole scheme would collapse. So it's difficult to see the circumstances under which any political party would actually stoop to such lows. Dude, can you imagine if the photo did win? I feel like the political party would have to be like, we need to find someone that looks like this. And then there's just like, yeah, that's him. That photo was a little off. It was a weird day that day. But yeah, this is him. And just be some actor or something. Who knows? All right. So I'm going to tell you about a technology. This is real. Like I'm on interestingengineering.com. It is a technology that surprised me that it existed, but it makes sense. And that is the ability to take the energy from a Wi-Fi signal and turn it into enough electricity that you could potentially charge a device. Because I already know there's all these Wi-Fi signals like flying around the room right now and like through my head and everything, but if they could actually charge, like if Grimlock never needed to be plugged in, what a different world we could live in. If it's some kind of open standard where if I don't have an Apple Watch, but if I did, if I could just go to any coffee shop and the Wi-Fi that's giving everybody free Wi-Fi, it was also just using some extra energy to charge everybody's devices. Like, will we have a future where there's no outlets, no plugs? So this is coming out of the National University of Singapore, and it's a new rectifier technology that can efficiently turn ambient radio frequency, so RF signals from Wi-Fi and cellular, into usable direct current, DC voltage, like you'd get out of the wall. Now, they're not just low power levels, they're very low power levels, negative 20 dBm. Okay, I don't know much about electricity, but I'm going to ask Claude, how long would it take to charge an average AA battery if the charge current is negative 20 dBm? Oh my God, and its output is approximately 42.8 years. Oh, that's like totally impractical in all senses. I don't have 15,617 days to charge a AA battery. All right, so that article was a little bit of a nothing burger. Sorry about that. But generative AI has now been tightly integrated into Microsoft Bing, and OpenAI now has a search engine. So let's dive into that. So I'm over on Bing.com, something I rarely do, but I'm here now, and I'm going to go to the Copilot tab and ask, explain to me what is meant by balanced stretching. I got this friend, and she's like, you gotta have balanced stretching, and I'm like, wait, get your normal text output, but you'll see some of it is underlined in different sections, sometimes with multiple different links to it. And I do like this. Instead of just reaching into a model like GPT-4 and saying there's a trillion parameters that know everything on the internet, it's more like go out, like read the internet, put things in groups, buckets, basically based on URLs and things like that and different topics, and then summarize them with a chain to where it came from. And to me, that's great. More explainability, more linking to people who provided the original content, and maybe even a better search engine experience. Like the 10 blue links that I get from Google are not that useful much for me anymore. I mean, it really feels like I read the little generative search thing almost every time I use Google now. Or my search bar itself remembers the websites that I want to make sure that I get, letter for letter correct for just security reasons. Flamingo stand, 1 foot, get out of here. But you can see the links down here, Healthline, Mayo Clinic, Harvard, very trustworthy. All right, here's the big news. If you want to get on the wait list, it's chatgpt.com/search. And it is a prototype of a new search feature using the strength of our AI models to answer your questions with relevant sources. Now, first off, real-time information from relevant sources is super needed. Everything with the election and the Olympics starting yesterday, it's just not something I can go to ChatGPT for. Visual results for richer understanding sounds pretty interesting. I wonder if they're going to be pushing something like we're seeing in Claude with artifacts. Because it could reach into its brain and say on all queries, like, is there a better way to display some of this information? And maybe we end up with a custom interface, like every time you do a search that makes sense for what you want. Also, I would like to point out this video I uploaded a year ago, 642 views. GPT will take over 80% of Google search traffic in the next 24 months.
This is how Microsoft is going to steal 80% of Google's traffic in the next 24 months. I know it's a bold statement, but I have my reasons to back it up. Google's mission statement is to organize the world's information, and I find it ironic because I think that Microsoft is going to beat them to it.
Oh, it's so cringy. I know, I was trying so hard back then. Look at me. Dude, 1 year, I feel worn out, bro. Look how youthful I looked back then. I was like all energy. Actually, maybe a better way, instead of positioning it company versus company, will 80% of all people looking for information go to a generative model, like a large language model of some kind, or a multimodal model like Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT? All right, so there is a bunch of wildfires right now, especially in California, that are causing damage. And they're very hard to predict because wind will push the fires in unpredictable locations, right? So it's really hard for firefighters to go find a strip of land that they can pre-burn in a controlled burn so that there's nothing there for the fire when it hits it. But if you can predict the weather, which is very difficult, but that's something AI is starting to really kind of shine at, especially with like NVIDIA's digital twin and the Microsoft model that's all about weather prediction, real-time satellite data, and some understanding of how the type of land will react to fire, you might have something special for an AI model.
Researchers at USC have developed a way to predict wildfire spread using artificial intelligence and satellite imagery.
Researchers at USC say they've developed a new model that combines artificial intelligence and real-time satellite data to accurately forecast how a fire will spread.
It's an AI tool that can forecast a fire's path, intensity, growth rate, and it can help firefighters and evacuation teams make better decisions. This is a cool use of AI, right? Like, this is one of the things where I do get excited about where technology is taking us, because this could be a much more preventable problem on Earth, or at least it can enhance decision making and potentially save lives. And there is now a new deep learning model that includes at least 10 different demographic and clinical factors to predict who has early stage osteoporosis to a reasonable degree of accuracy. I mean, this is great because paying a professional to take their time and look at these scans is impractical for everyone in the world who's curious at any time. Like, if we can get an x-ray from some place in the world and then have a machine look at it, and then at least to filter out the ones that are like super high confident, like you don't have it, or you might, let's send it up to somebody who can like double check that. I think these kind of imagery tools are a great use of AI. So it's estimated that more than 10 million older people in the US have this condition. And the earlier the risk is detected, the more time a patient has to take preventative measures. And even though there is a system, dual energy X-ray absorption, DXA, to assess bone density, it's relatively expensive and wide-scale screening is not currently recommended. The CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, he has some opinions for our government. So he wrote an opinion piece and then he sent it to the Washington Post. Here it is. Who will control the future of AI? A democratic vision for artificial intelligence must prevail over an authoritarian one. But the meat and potatoes of this is that he feels, and I feel the same way, that the future of this whole thing we're building, this like maybe man's last invention, the invention that actually invents better than anything else, and how it's aligned, the data that it's trained on, and what early rules of thumb, heuristics, fundamental values that are built into it will determine if it itself thinks more democratic or authoritarian. There is some sense when you walk around the United States that everybody believes in democracy. They act a certain way. They're a little bit less scared than in some other countries where there are social scores and people are more, more tyrannical, more violent. Think about North Korea. Like, there's something about the way that the whole system works that can be better or worse. So he stressed in the piece that the US must lead the global coalition to ensure that AI benefits are widely shared and not exploited by authoritarian regimes. And then there's a lot of thoughts about what that means, like robust security measures. Of course, Leopold doesn't think you're doing a great job with it, but still. Substantial infrastructure investment, maybe when he was like shopping the $7 trillion investment, which honestly I would. Like if I was Biden right now or whoever the next president is, I would find the money for that. I mean, $7 trillion is a lot. Maybe not that. Well, you know what? Like what else are we going to, I mean, maybe infrastructure and stuff, but it's the key to the next thing. Like we don't need 50,000 new aircraft carriers and airplanes and tanks when you can build AI and it can like basically cyclically help all of the other interests in the United States. He says in the article also, fostering AI talent, couldn't agree more, probably should make school free for anyone who wants to like study AI. You just can't get enough talent, or we should be really good at importing it and teaching it and getting people excited about it, like early on in life, and seeing how they could like build a career or have an influence on the future. He basically just points out that democratic nations need to act right now to maintain their lead. So yeah, if you want some insights into how one of the most important players in this space is thinking about it, it's on the Washington Post's website. So for the next article, you have to know that there is a major academic publishing company that specializes in providing scholarly content that is called Taylor and Francis. Now, they are getting their content from actual academics doing actual research. So they're an academic publisher, and they sold access to all of the content that they have been given, the research that they've been publishing, to Microsoft. So when the authors found out about this, because it kind of leaked, and then everybody's like, hey, why didn't you notify us about this? And we didn't receive any compensation or an opportunity to even opt out from you giving that information to Microsoft. They were really upset about the lack of transparency. And if you think about from Microsoft's point of view, a lot of this research was probably in the AI space, so they're using it like their R&D department. Okay, so the details of this agreement were actually published during a trading update in May that said they were going to get paid $10 million from Microsoft for, quote, an initial data access of all the works. So I don't know. I mean, look, I understand when I upload stuff to YouTube that it's going to go there. Like there was some arguments about whether the transcripts from all these YouTube videos should be used for Google to train Gemini. And I pretty much assume it will be. However, if a company like Google is actually taking research and they're using it like their own internal R&D to build products or make their company more at a competitive advantage to someone else, then it feels like directly the work that you're doing is helping their company. Like if I invent something and then I publish it, you know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, I'll take that and I'll build it. You might want to funnel some of that money down. All right, so now let's talk about an article in Medium called Here's How AI is Discovering New Emotions. It's written by this author, Ignacio De Gregoro. Okay, so you probably heard of basic emotion theory: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. Paul Ekman, the Inside Out movies. Ooh, I forgot. I just saw the Deadpool Wolverine movie last night, and I was like, I forgot I needed to see Inside Out too. Or the dimensional models. So a common dimensional model will involve like different dimensions. So like Plutchik's Wheel of Emotion. Okay, it looks beautiful. I feel like I could base my life around this. But now that we actually have large language models, we've done a lot to understand how they work. Maybe traditional fields, everybody from like that guy who works in your HR department and like does Myers-Briggs tests for people to real psychologists, they should be thinking about semantic space theory as their emotional anchoring. The best thing to do would use the same sort of model that it seems like our human brain's using, that the large language models are using, that the deep learning networks are using. So I don't know, a few months ago I played with this model, this one at Hume AI that's supposed to be the most emotional of all models. I just don't know why all of these jerks drive like morons.
Dealing with bad drivers is the worst. It's understandable to feel annoyed, even amused at how ridiculous some people act behind the wheel. Deep breaths. Don't let their foolishness ruin your day. Maybe we could come up with some silly car pranks to get those emotions out in a fun way.
Well, I do feel good when I'm driving and then I look over and I see somebody walking a golden retriever.
Golden retrievers always bring a smile, don't they? I can picture the scene. You're cruising along, feeling content behind the wheel, and then you spot someone out walking their adorable furry friend.
Okay, so you can see how it understood my emotions, not just me saying I'm frustrated or I'm excited, just actually hearing the tone of my voice being frustrated, and then it tries to match that same thing. Okay, so it's in its latent space has some understanding of how there's a pattern between what I said and what it should say back, and it's, you know, it's got emotions in there somewhere. And just like we said, that could be correlated to facial expressions, smell. I mean, that'd be interesting if in the future our phones are like, I smell something stinky, and then they like, you know, Siri's like, can we go somewhere else before I tell you about like the weather or something? But clearly speech and my facial characteristics, those would be like main primary ways that we signal to each other our emotions. So yeah, in a nutshell, turning semantics into mathematics might be something that could really help us understand just the emotional state of the world, why we feel certain ways, how to communicate better, how to deal with people from other cultures. And of course, I mean, I try to be more optimistic here, but that's also opens the door for manipulation, like mass manipulation. So remember, that could be a bad outcome of having a system that smart, but it also could lead to generative content that's way more exciting and fun and engaging, and conversations with your phone better. You know, the best teachers in the world are high IQ or high EQ, emotionally intelligent. They're usually able to pick up on emotions, to express them well. There could be, for safety, there could be clues. Like when people are about to do bad things, they're emotionally not calm. They're, you know, like it's a tricky thing, but a camera could probably listen to certain emotions and say, wow, this person shouldn't be driving right now. This person needs to be like separated from a crowd or a person or a situation. Like,
Grimlock stronger. Meet Grimlock possibly.
Grimlock, you know what time it is?
It's extinction time.
No, Grimlock, it's research time. All right, let's talk about some image deblurring with LFormer, local frequency transformer for image deblurring. Okay, so this research is showing a new way to improve image deblurring, which I've always found to be like a super fascinating topic. You might, if you're newer to the channel, you probably don't remember, because back when I'd only get like maybe 100, 200 views a video, I did a video about the reconstruction of the reflection on an eyeball, and how we're discovering all this stuff about the people who took old photos, because the eye is fairly reflective. It's just so tiny. There's like so blurry that you don't see anything. But as we get better with like blur enhancement, you can see like these old people like holding the cameras on the other side of the person they photographed. So this image on the right is the LFormer B, which we're looking at. And you can see the car looks more clear. Like you can see better edges around where the tires are than the other models. And I feel like the text was reconstructed a bit better. Like look at the 7 and the 5 here versus how the 5 almost is unreadable in these two. In the lower lighting situations, it seems a little better. Maybe not quite as well. Sephora reads a little bit better there, I would say. You know, it's not totally clear that there's even text on that blue stripe until you get to the newest model. Okay, so take this initial example. This woman's holding something here, but it's not totally clear what that is. So you can see the image on the right gives us the most clear when we're upscaled. The side of this truck or this license plate here. You get much better images with LFormer. Here you can actually see the text, and on this one you can't even see it at all. And same with the license plate. So, all right, next up let's talk about YouDream, generating atomically controllable consistent text to 3D animals. Yeah, who doesn't want to see a bunch of text to 3D animals? Puppies, pandas, monkeys, who knows what. So given an input 3D pose from an animal pose library of 16 entries, our multi-agent LLM will generate novel animals. So American crocodile, hippo. Okay, so there's the structure. There's where the horse gets built around it. So is this some kind of, fantastical creature that's got horse-like and giraffe-like qualities, and then probably some text prompt to make it look like venom or whatever. So a zoomed out photo of a llama with octopus tentacle body. What am I looking at here? So was it able to, so I guess it has this just basic wireframe structure of a llama and an octopus, and it can put those two together in a creative way and then build the rest of the structure around it. A realistic mythical bird with 2 pairs of wings and 2 long, thin lion-like tails. Wow, this paper is so interesting. An elephant kicking a soccer ball? A toucan flying with its wings spread out. Okay, so comparing to some of the previous models, this is YouDream on the far right. A pangolin, not giving us COVID, standing on a flat concrete surface. Yeah, the zebra, its anatomical shape looks fine here. Same with the pangolin. A dragon with 3 heads separating from the neck. Yeah, by far their model is the newest and best one. A zoomed out photo of a llama with octopus tentacle body. Yeah, I mean, none of the others even got it right. Pose control 3D generation. Generate assets for a tiger prompted for various 3D poses. All right, so I don't mean to jinx anything, knock on wood, but the video that just launched 5 hours ago is maybe going to be my best one yet for a while, maybe even ever. So 6 hours ago it launched. I'm already at 2,800 views. I don't know. I'm actually running 3 different thumbnails as a test, so I don't know, but look at this. Look at that. It's going off the chart right now. Already 4,000 views when typically I'm only in between 1.3 and 1.7. I mean, I've already got 32 subscribers from this video. Are you kidding? I mean, click-through rate is good. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is a little bit above average. So that's definitely a good thumbnail so far. But yeah, YouTube is being really nice to me. Oh, let's see the breakdown so far. So they're all performing about the same. 32% for this one. 34 for that spaceship one, huh? All right, and for our song today, I'm going to take a little clip from the Medium article and make a song about using semantic space theory. And of course, for the style, we need space and synth to do it.
Using semantic space theory, we are using a data-driven approach to proving new theories of emotion that go well beyond our current understanding.
That's it. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button or share, you know, I'm still trying to grow this channel, make a living doing this. And maybe you could even do a super thanks. It's like even $1 or whatever would be super helpful. But either way, thanks for watching.